splash in a republic of West Africa. The sights and sounds before you are part of FESCAM, an acronym for Festival of Nautical Sports, Cultures, and Arts, and it takes place every year at a historic lake village in the African nation of Benin. The village is named Ganvier. It was literally built on the lake, with homes and other structures on stilts. It was founded in the 1700s by people who were fleeing slavery and attacks from nearby kingdoms, so it makes sense that water sports and events, canoe races, and a unique floating cultural heritage are all part of FESCAM. One spectator told Reuters News that the event brings people together and helps promote the village's values, tradition and community, running deep and spreading joy in a place known as the Venice of Africa. Hi, I'm Azuz, and Fridays are awesome. So good to have you spending part of yours with the world from A to Z. Next story on the surface looks like an international business deal that may or may not happen. So what? Well, there's a lot more to it when it comes to jobs, trade, and maybe politics. Here's the issue. Nippon Steel is a Japanese steelmaking company. It plans to buy U.S. Steel, an American steelmaking company, for almost $15 billion. The two companies involved want this deal to go through. U.S. Steel says it needs Nippon's investment to update American steel mills and to compete better with other international companies. It also says without the deal, it might have to lay off thousands of workers and close plants. So why is this controversial? The United Steelworkers Union, which has thousands of members in multiple states, wants U.S. Steel to stay under American ownership. It says jobs could be threatened if the deal goes through, and that certain union protections might be pushed aside if Nippon takes over. As far as political concerns go, it's an election year in America, and both Democrats and Republicans have said they want more manufacturing jobs to stay in America. Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump has said he'd block the steel merger if he were in the White House. Democratic presidential nominee Kamala Harris has said she wants U.S. Steel to remain American-owned. The Biden administration may take action to try to block this merger, and the two companies involved say if it does, the government will be prioritizing politics over the facts and the law. That's according to excerpts shared with Reuters News. So a legal fight may be on the horizon between U.S. Steel and the U.S. government.
World of knowledge. After water, what is the most widely consumed beverage in the world? Milk, wine, coffee, tea. According to Statista.com and National Geographic, the world's most popular drink after water is tea, though coffee sales may have the highest dollar amount.
As a sort of follow-up to yesterday's report on caffeine consumption, we're talking about coffee today, but not the organic kind grown in picturesque and exotic places. Today's report is on lab-grown coffee. It may not have the distinctive aromas or flavors that natural soil and climate provide, and some versions don't even have caffeine. Synthetic stimulants are added to them. So why is a search for coffee alternatives taking place?
Traditional coffee growing methods currently face a water and land shortage problem as the worldwide demand for coffee continues to rise. A number of companies are creating coffee alternatives, starting in a laboratory. First step, growing the coffee cultures, right in a petri dish. Once the plants grow, the beans are harvested, dried, and roasted, just like regular coffee beans. This process is a major part of what gives coffee its distinctive flavors. Coffee plant cells in a lab can mature into full-grown plants much faster than the traditional method of growing from seed. Other companies aren't even bothering with coffee beans at all. They've turned to chickpeas, date pits, and chicory root as alternatives. Why all the competition to replace coffee? It has the highest sales of any beverage worldwide at 2 billion cups a day. It's clearly a huge part of people's lives, and has been for a long time. In fact, it's been around since the 15th century. So getting drinkers to switch over to something else isn't gonna be easy. It isn't the first time people have tried to market coffee alternatives. During World War II, coffee was rationed to provide enough for the troops. Wartime posters encouraged citizens to do with less so they'll have enough. So consumers at home turned to what's called ersatz coffee. Ersatz meaning an artificial or inferior substitute. These wartime drinks were steeped with such things as chicory root, soybeans, acorns, barley, and grain. But today there's no call to ration coffee, so what's going to drive people to drink fake coffee? Maybe outrageous prices, and whether it tastes as good as the real stuff.
On this date in world history, maritime history was made on September 6th. In the year 1522, a ship named the Victoria arrived on the Spanish coast. It was one of 5 that had set sail from there 3 years earlier under the command of Portuguese explorer Ferdinand Magellan. And even though he was killed in the Philippines in 1521, the fact that the Victoria made it back to Spain is why Magellan is credited with being the first European to circumnavigate the globe. And on this date in 1901, U.S. President William McKinley was shot by an anarchist while he was attending the World's Fair in Buffalo, New York. He had surgery and lived for a few days afterward, but an infection from his wounds claimed his life on September 14th. His assassination led to the Secret Service assignment of protecting the president. Teachers, there are 2 main ways to request a mention on this here segment. 1, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel and comment with your school's info under each day's show. Or 2, you can head to worldatozorg and click Request a Shoutout. That's what Mr. Dirtchee's class did at Lovell Middle School. Great to see the Bulldogs in Lovell, Wyoming. And we heart Mr. Hart's class. Lockwood High School is the first one from Montana we've mentioned this year. Let's go Lions at Lockwood. And while we're out west, we'll make a stop at Falls City Middle School. The Mountaineers are in Falls City, Oregon, with Mr. McDowell's class watching there.
Feast your eyes on the absolute cream of the crop of wondrous wildlife images captured from all corners of the world. It's just a taste of a collection of highly commended images making up the final round of the 2024 Wildlife Photographer of the Year competition. Put on by the Natural History Museum, London, the fantastical finalist images were whittled down from nearly 60,000 submitted entries, a new record for the competition, from photographers of all ages and experience levels from 117 countries. Highlights include a breathtakingly serene forest moment that looks like something out of a fairy tale, a terrifying stare down from a vicious predator protecting its precious catch, a bird's eye view of a glacier so massive the final image had to be stitched together from 26 separate frames. All entries were judged by a panel on their creativity, originality, and technical excellence, and are vying for the top honors in multiple categories. Winners will be announced on October 8th, and 100 photographs from the competition will then headline an exhibition at London's Natural History Museum.
So in Scotland, United Kingdom, a homeowner's grandchildren reportedly had trouble sleeping at night because of a buzzing sound. They weren't just hearing things, well actually they were. These things. When part of the ceiling was removed, it revealed 3 colonies of bees. About 180,000 of them were believed to have been living there for years. The insects were safely removed from the home, and the plan was to use them for honey production. Well, the kids had been told to beehive themselves. We wonder if they'd wake up craving honeycomb cereal, finding their allergies were gone, or wanting to go pick wildflowers. Maybe once their plans crystallized, they found they had time to do some bee combing before buzzing through a number of errands all across the pollination. The homeowner's probably just thankful the whole ordeal is clover. All right, I'm Carl Azuz, and that's the buzz on the world from A to Z. Have a wonderful weekend, and please join us again Monday. You mean the world to me.